Hi, what's up, Ravens? Welcome to a very special edition of Second Take. This is going to be our junior edition. We got some amazing topics to talk about, mainly the NBA playoffs, and it's coming up right after this. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back, Ravens. Kicking it off, NBA playoffs. Mavericks, Thunder, the hot topic. Played last night. Mavs taking this one after getting blown out in Game 1. What do you think about that?
I think I'm not going to say it all lies on one player, but Josh Giddey did have an off night. He played the lowest amount of minutes he ever has in his career, and they really needed him tonight, and I don't think he pulled through for him.
Obviously, Josh Giddey is less reputable just due to the allegations that he had earlier in the season, but people don't really recognize that he is genuinely a good role player, second piece to this Thunder team. Like, he shooting just around 50% from three and only takes the shots when they're there. Like, he genuinely plays the right way, and he knocks it down when he needs to, like a true role player does.
Mm-hmm. I don't think the game last night, I don't think it was as much Josh Giddey didn't show up. I think it's Dallas did show up. P.J. Washington, 7 3-pointers made, had himself one heck of a night. Just, man was hooping last night, and that's something we haven't really seen from him in the playoffs a whole ton. But last night he went and showed off, and he led the Mavs to this victory. So, the Mavs, they just got all these role players that when they play good, they are contenders.
I wouldn't say even win. It's mainly just been P.J. Washington this playoff run. Like, almost every game in these playoffs, he's been sitting around 20, 25 points. He has been borderline all-star in these playoff runs. I know it's
borderline.
It's rough to roll off the tongue, but P.J. Washington has been putting up.
Is that what you're saying?
He has been putting up all-star numbers in the playoffs so far.
Yeah, him and Luka and Donovan Mitchell actually last night all had 29 points.
Hey,
impressive numbers.
Quick question: what happened to Kyrie?
Yeah, that's a great question.
He didn't have a great night, but he also had 11 assists. You can't complain.
It wasn't a great scoring night, but he managed to contribute to his team in other ways.
Guys just dishing the ball out left and right, feeding his teammates, and ultimately they got the dub. So can't complain about Kyrie that much.
Yeah, led in assists out of the games last night. So not a great scoring night, but yeah, definitely still helping his team.
So we do talk a lot about the playoffs being a defense-oriented game, but obviously we were just talking about the Mavs went and took this one. Also, the pendulum point of this game, in my opinion, was more of Lou Dort and how he was going to respond and how he was going to show up in a way. Because Luka has not been having that great of a playoff run so far. His averages have gone down by nearly 5 in almost every statistical
Yeah, from 35
category.
to 30.
Anyways, I do like how the Mavs came out, shot 50% from 3, 50% from the field. And I think they're starting to flip the status quo kind of on how you win playoff games, and I like that a lot.
I wouldn't say Luka's average are going down for sure. 33, 32, 22, 29, 35, just in that Clippers series alone. Every game he's been putting up those numbers and ultimately leading the Mavericks to the win. And that's really given this Mavericks team a big jump. With Luka and Kyrie in the backcourt, that's a scary duo if I've ever seen one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, another aspect to this game is, you talk about how we talk a lot about the playoffs and how it's defense, but it's such a good point. Because in the playoffs, teams just step up the defense for some reason. Because, you look at the Mavs, not known for their defense, but last night, Luka and Kyrie both in the top 3 in steals, and then Kyrie in the top 3 in blocks. Luka in the top 5. I mean, just last night, and then they got their offense working. It seems to just all be clicking together for the Mavs.
Yeah, obviously there are still, I wouldn't necessarily say large questions on defense, but there are definitely still a few questions on when it comes down to it, and it's the final possession of the game. When it comes down to it, final possession of the game, who are you going to put on their player to stop them from scoring? Because obviously you have Daniel Gafford, who's a defense guy, doesn't really do much except get his buckets and then play defense. Like, who would you put forward to stop Shai in a critical game situation?
Yeah, that's a good point.
To be honest, I don't know.
To be honest, yeah, you look at the Mavs team, there just doesn't seem to be a guy that can stop Shai. I mean, went for 33 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists. He filled the stat line.
It's been a normality throughout the season for Shai, to say the least.
For Shai.
Shai. You know, the MVP snub, definitely should have won that, but...
I don't know about that one. But I think we can all agree Jokic should not have been.
He should not have
been. Can we
been.
talk about that real quick? MVP race. Jokic, the Joker, was named the 2024 MVP. Wow.
Him,
can I just say that?
Along with 9 other people with 3 MVPs. MV3,
yeah.
They say.
3 out of the last 4 years, Jokic has won MVP.
And arguably snubbed of the 4th year, which would have been an incredible run.
Yeah. Do we think this year was a makeup kind of for last year?
Probably.
Indeed.
Yeah.
You know, Jokic still, one heck of a player. Stats speak for themselves. But this year there was Shea and there was Doncic.
Yeah, and now what we haven't seen in previous years is, the Nuggets have a fully healthy lineup, but they're falling apart now. They don't look as formidable as they once did.
Mm-hmm.
They are down 2-0 to the T-Wolves, and although they are coming off a sweep, it was against Darvin Ham and the Lakers.
The Bon.
Does not count.
Yeah.
So I think that is mainly what's perplexing me the most with Jokic taking it home. Because when you think most valuable, you think winning, dominance, you think of that. And
someone that leads their team.
Yeah, and we're not really associating Nikola Jokic with leading his team as of now.
In this season. In past seasons, 100%, guy deserved it. This season, though, especially when compared to Shea and Doncic, it's just, I don't see how you can say he is the most valuable player.
Yeah, but speaking of leading teams, Donovan Mitchell. Clutch time Donovan Mitchell.
Pulled one out against the Celtics.
He did. They won by 24 points. Donovan Mitchell has just been on an absolute tear recently. Obviously, he combined for 83 points in games 6 and 7 of the Magic and Cavs series. And we're really starting to wonder here, what's the ceiling for him? Obviously, we saw him on the Jazz in the bubble, and he played amazing.
But he was on the Jazz.
Yeah, he wasn't supported by anybody. He had Mike Conley as his next best option on offense.
He did have Gobert for a little bit.
Yeah, but come on, like 2020 Flight said, Gobert's not a superstar.
Yeah.
Gobert.
There's also a guy named Anthony Edwards. Now, that's a guy I think who got snubbed of the MVP a little bit.
This year.
We could call it that, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you look at his points, he wasn't performing.
Maybe
the level that some of these other guys were performing.
Maybe.
I mean, on his team, yeah, definitely most valuable player. But when you look at the league as a whole, I mean, you just look at the stat line. I just don't think that supports that.
I mean, yeah, you can make a case for that. But with this guy, I mean, the playoff run he's making right now, I mean, dude's going off. I mean, 40 and 43 in his last 3 games. I mean, that's crazy. He's just single-handedly carrying this Timberwolves team, I think.
I would say it's definitely a stretch to say that he is single-handedly carrying them. They have a well-rounded team, to say the very least. They dominate the regular season in defense. Mm-hmm. Them and the Celtics, highly above everybody else. And then you see the spectrum kind of flip in the playoffs. You see them go from a defensive team to now a more, let's go score 115 points and take this game, where we didn't see that in the regular season, and I kind of like this look from them.
Yeah, I mean, let's talking about carrying one's team, let's talk about Brunson real quick. The Knicks took one against the Pacers.
The Infinity Stones? 2-0?
Okay, we might have made fun of you in the past. The Knicks may have the Infinity Stones. I've said it before. They may. Because Brunson, I did call it, did not get his 40. Broke his streak. I called that.
Oh.
But, I mean, still 29.
Yeah, dude.
Still
he's
29 points.
He went out first half, and he got hurt. So, took him back into the locker room, finished the first half 5 points. He comes back, scores 24 in the second half against the Pacers, helping close the 10-point lead by the Pacers and securing the win for the Knicks. Sort of, obviously we talk about X factors in these playoffs, but when I watch Jalen Brunson playing in the final 2 minutes of a game, it just seems like every shot he shoots will go in, and it's incredible to me.
100%. And the Knicks, big news, they broke their 7-man rotation.
It's true.
It's now an 8-man rotation. Alec Burks got in for 44 seconds. Big progress right there. I've said it from the beginning. If they open up their rotations a little bit, get some more role players involved, then they are contenders. And it looks like they did that, and that's why Alex Burks' minute, that's why they won the game.
That could be a big factor, actually. With Mitchell Robinson potentially being out for the rest of the season due to Joel Embiid's dirty demeanor, it does worry me a little bit. Where are we going to go from here with our big men? Obviously, we have one of the best centers in the playoffs in Isaiah Hartenstein. But after that, you got Precious Achiuwa, who's a 6'9" forward. Like, there is not much depth on this Knicks team as we had originally thought.
One of the best centers in the playoffs, really?
I mean, you want to argue it?
I feel like we could argue that for a while.
Obviously, Gobert.
Jokic.
Who else?
I think that's it. I mean, I don't think any of the rest of the centers are super relevant.
One of the best centers
especially
in these playoffs.
Well, I mean, there's only
of 8 teams. Top 3 out of 8. That's 37.5%.
I mean, I don't know about that. You look at Evan Mobley. Boy, yeah, better than Hartenstein. I will say that.
You're walking on thin ice, buddy.
Yeah, you're saying Isaiah Hartenstein is better than Evan Mobley.
100%.
100%.
Evan Mobley.
I'm a big stat guy. Look at the stats.
Regular season demon. He'll go out and he'll make his 1 3-pointer a game, miss his next 3-pointer the next game. That's still 50%. You think they care if he's knocking down 1 3 a game? No. He's not a good rebounder, not better than Isaiah Hartenstein. And nobody is better than Isaiah Hartenstein at defense aside from Rudy Gobert. I had to make sure I said that fast.
I think I might have to side with Joe here. Evan Mobley, he's a dog. I mean, you're talking about rebounds. Isaiah Hartenstein out-rebounded him?
By 2.
Last 2 games, Evan Mobley, 10 rebounds, 21 points, 5 assists, and 2 blocks. And then in May 7th against the Celtics, 17 points, 13 rebounds. I mean, Hartenstein, he's a good ball player, but I think
he serves his purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess we'll just have to see who makes it to the Eastern Conference Finals and who doesn't.
About that, Cavs, they're not looking bad. I will say, they are not looking terrible. You got Donovan Mitchell going out and balling. You got Karis LeVert showing up a little bit
Yeah.
with his 21 points, and Evan Mobley with his 21 points.
As much as we want to talk about all the double-digit scores on the Cavs, we have to look at the Celtics and their disappointing Game 2, to say the very least. Jaylen Brown comes out 0 for 6 from 3, 19 points. Like, he's just a shot-chucking volume scorer right now. And Derek White, rumored to be maybe the second most valuable player on this Celtics team right now, doesn't show up. Shoots 27.5% from the field.
One of the few games he hasn't shown up, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. But that's really the big question with this whole Celtics team, and it has been for years. Are they going to show up in these playoffs, and who is going to show up in these playoffs? Jason Tatum, obviously, hasn't performed the greatest in the finals. Jaylen Brown, we saw that in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, fell apart against the Heat.
The year before.
And Derek White, like, he's on the come up, but we're still inquiring questions from this last game, like 10 points.
It's definitely a team that, they go hard in the regular season. They do really, really well in the come playoffs. They just fall apart.
Yeah. Two of the biggest, something that I'm starting to realize now is the winners of each of these games have both shot over 45% from 3 and out-rebounded their opponent by at least 3 rebounds. But also the Celtics, 31 rebounds to 44 for the Cavs. And that's without Jared Allen. Obviously, the Celtics don't have Porzingis, and they won't for a while. But still.
Is there word on that? He's out?
He is out. He has a calf strain, and he's going to be out for...
just like Giannis?
I believe the rest of this series. And honestly, it might be upset o'clock here, because Jared Allen...
Oh, you're calling upset o'clock.
I'm not calling it. I'm saying...
remind me to make a graphic for that later.
I'm saying watch for it. We might...
Watch for an upset?
We might be upset o'clock here, because Jared Allen is sort of the focal point of this team, aside from Donovan Mitchell. He's their defensive anchor, and he sort of rights this ship in a way. That's how I like discussing it. Just Jared Allen leads his team when Donovan Mitchell isn't there to sort of,
I don't see it the same way. In this series, I say this is the Celtics off game. All right.
Yeah.
This is the game. They don't shoot super well. They go in a little confident, get a little sloppy. I think they blow them out from here on out. I think they come in. They're like, nah, not gonna happen again. Take the series.
That is a very possible option too. I'm gonna just be honest, but.
Alrighty. Anything else y'all want to talk about?
No.
Great, man.
All right. Well, do we want to do our picks for tonight?
That sounds good, yeah. Who we got?
With the Pacers, Knicks, and the Timberwolves, Nuggets.
So, headed into Minnesota off a dominant stretch in Denver, to say the least. Mm-hmm. Took the first game, I believe it was 6 points, and then take the second game by 26 points without Gobert. They're looking amazing. I think they run into Minnesota. Obviously, they may be a little high on their horses, so obviously I don't think they'll take this in a landslide.
Yeah.
But I do think that they are going to show up and show out for the Minnesota fans, and they will take this one home going up 3-0 in the series.
I think I agree with Jackson here. The Timberwolves have looked very dominant against the Nuggets. They have a great rotation right now. And Are they back at home?
Yeah.
Minnesota takes this. Ant Edwards is going to lead their team. Yeah, that's basically all I got.
I just think he's gonna show that he can be one of the best players in this league, and he's gonna show it by just dominating tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta agree. I mean, they've been so dominant in Denver. Just going back home, I don't see there's a way that they can lose this game. I do think next game, Nuggets are going to take it. It's going to be a gentleman's sweep. And, I think this game, it's just going to finally put the rumors to rest, and we're finally going to figure out that Anthony Edwards is MJ's son.
Yeah.
That's
Speaking of MJ, Knicks Pacers, 80s rivalry. Knicks up 2-0. Hey, I was referring to the 80s.
Sure.
All right. Knicks Pacers rivalry. How are we feeling? Knicks up 2-0. They head into Indiana.
I really like the Pacers tonight. Okay, I think after being thoroughly embarrassed by the Knicks these past 2 games, I think going back to their home crowd, they're going to want to put on a show. They're hungry for it. I feel like they take this one tonight.
I feel like the Pacers are going to win tonight just because of the fact that I don't see them going down 3-0. I don't think that they would let that happen. In Indiana, I don't think that that's just a thing that they would let happen.
Yeah, I also think the Pacers are going to take this one. Going into New York, Madison Square Garden, tough place to play.
One of the toughest places.
The Knicks, I mean, they didn't win by, a comfortable margin, you could say. Kind of like a nail biter down to the end. But I think the Pacers, they get back to Indiana, they get back on track, and I think, series will go 2-1, Pacers win.
So, I do think that this Pacers team is a very determined team. They are known to fight and claw their way back into games. And honestly, when I look at this, there's really no stat that'll tell you I think they're going to win this one. But when you think of Indiana, I just have this feeling that they can't go down 3-0. There's no feeling in me that Pacers are going to go down 3-0 regardless of whatever team they're playing.
They're going to make it happen.
They're going to make something happen. Tyrese will go and score 30, have 10 assists. Pascal Siakam can go off. Miles Turner will start knocking down his threes. Anything can happen. Obi Toppin, TJ McConnell, they're just not going to go down without a fight.
I am kind of waiting for TJ McConnell to kind of play his role as backup point guard because there's been so much pressure on Halliburton, and he hasn't been playing the best until this last game when he got his 31. 31.
Yeah.
34.
Right.
And then his 9 assists. He's starting to warm up a little bit. So I think the Pacers are going to take it tonight. Tyrese, I think he's going to go out. He's going to get stuff going. I think TJ McConnell, I think he's due. I think he's going to go out and he's going to have himself a good game, solid game. All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's going to do it for today's episode of Second Take presented by the Raven Network. It's been Jackson Deckett, Blake Winter, and Carson, forget your last name. Bathlick, that's right, and Joe Brescia. We'll be back here on Monday. Thank you so much for watching. That's going to do it.